I think the Titans live-action TV series is just so good, and I cannot stop talking about it, and I cannot wait to talk about it with you guys right now. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Lifestyle Critic. I hope you're having a brilliant day. So in this video we are going to be reviewing Titans Season 1 and Season 2 combined in this video review, and I am just a massive fan of Titans. Firstly, as I feel like they're a lot more relatable for a younger audience, and also as a team of sidekicks I've always just found them so fascinating as they're somewhat overshadowed by their bigger, more well-known counterparts. And just seeing all of the character development that happens as a result of that overshadowing is just so fascinating, and they really do explore it in such great depths in this TV series, which is really great. And also on top of that is just a lot darker, edgier, grittier and cooler, which is really awesome. I mean, it's definitely not without its problems, and some episodes are a little bit slow, but that being said, in those episodes there's still enough enjoyment to be had for it to be awesome, and it's always building up to something. And when those moments, when it does crescendo, everything is just so dramatic, so dynamic, and so well earned, especially in the season finales. Massive crescendo moments happening over there, which is really great. And also as a series, I just feel like it's just got such fantastic storytelling, really deep with all of the different characters, excellent character development, and I just feel like it blends darkness and lightness really well, and I cannot wait to break down the first two seasons with you right now. So one of the really great things about the Titans TV series is that because it is a TV series, you can go in so much detail with not only the characters but also the storyline arcs that they have in this series, which is absolutely awesome. So let's talk about the main ones right now. So let's start with the first season, and the main arc of the first season is all to do with the Raven/Rachel character trying to find Dick Grayson as loads of people are chasing her, and through this there's just loads of exploration about her dark and demonic powers, which really did set the scene for a lot more of a darker, more horrific and a lot more horror-based gothic type show. And it also brought together the characters of Dick Grayson, Rachel, Corey and Gar as the new Titans, and the way that they ended this storyline at the end of the first season was just such a big cliffhanger, and it really did make you super excited about the second season and just seeing what on earth is going to happen next. So I feel like the storyline arc for the Rachel Raven character was the main big plot of the first season. Also, I really loved how they depicted the Dick Grayson character, especially in the first season. I feel like the first season definitely was the best representation of this character, as you can literally feel how much resentment, how much anger, how much bitterness this character has towards Batman, and he's literally coming out of his shadow and trying to make a name for himself, which I thought was so powerful and just super gripping. Obviously the Batman and Robin characters are so well known, and I just feel like the way they depicted it from a storyline point of view in the first season of Titans was really cool. And like I said, I just loved this version of the Dick Grayson character, as he was super angsty while still trying to be a leader figure for all of the other characters within the Titans group. And also the scenes in the beginning of when he first meets Jason Todd, I just thought was so good. I feel like Brenton Thwaites did such a good job, as you could also feel the resentment as well that he has towards Jason Todd in terms of being his replacement, seeing the fact that Batman was able to replace him so quickly, and also just seeing the enjoyment that Jason is having from the role of Robin while he still is Robin, I just thought was so brilliant. And then seeing the progression of that relationship over the next few future seasons, I thought was really cool. Also, the Corey character not knowing anything about her past, I thought was really intriguing, whilst at the same time she is a super powerful character that I just thought was really interesting, as she is learning everything, as is the audience, about her past and putting all of the pieces together. And then when you do find out that actually she came to Earth to destroy the Rachel character, I feel like it even more links these two storylines. Also, on top of the fact that these two characters have become really close, I feel like they did the Corey character really well. Gar, you don't really see that much of him in the first season. He's obviously really close with all of the different characters, and I really liked how they did a bit of a backdoor pilot for the Doom Patrol TV series, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And also, I loved how each episode, in a very similar way to how Lost does it, each episode was kind of dedicated to a different character, while still having all of the other characters in there for sure, but it was dedicated to one character in particular in terms of focusing on the origin storyline. And on that note, I just feel like Titans is so brilliant in how it tells all of the different particular origin storylines for all of its different characters, which I just feel like is super strong for the first season and also subsequent seasons as well. Now let's focus on season 2. So we obviously open up by wrapping everything up from the end of the first season on the brilliant big cliffhanger that they left everything on. I always think it was really interesting as the first episode seemed so similar to everyone's look and feel from the first season. So I wonder if they filmed the first episode of the second season while they were filming the first season. But anyway, one of the big main storylines in the second season is the official reformation of the Titans characters and all of the hesitation, trepidation and sadness that all of the original members are feeling with obviously what happened in the past when they officially were the Titans before. And actually I thought those scenes were so interesting, as you can feel all of the past moments that Dick Grayson, Donna Troy, Hank and Dawn were feeling with obviously when they lost Aqualad. I do feel like they could have made a bigger deal of this. I know they did with the Deathstroke character having such a presence in the second season, but I do feel like they could have pushed it a little bit more in terms of what happened in the past with the Aqualad character. But speaking of which, Deathstroke definitely took up the big bad mantle in the second season. It definitely took it over from Trigon in the first season. That being said, I feel like because this was so overbearing, it should have been a bit shorter. I feel like Deathstroke was a great character, especially when they linked in Rose and Jericho into the storyline. Definitely made it a little bit more complicated, linked in the Titans even more, and actually how he was really successful in destroying the Titans from the inside out, and all of the twists and stuff that were revealed with this character. But that being said, I definitely feel like they could have shortened it, as it did feel like it dragged on a little bit too long. With that being said, the way that they ended the second season I thought was so brilliant, when it was literally Titans versus Titans. Definitely felt a little bit Civil War-esque from the Avengers series. And speaking of which, the fact that they were all up against Superboy was really cool. Speaking of which, like I said, I feel like the origin of Superboy was done really well. All of his scenes when he is acting a bit Superman-esque I thought was really great, but also he's got a bit of Lex Luthor in him, and I do feel like they pull those two attributes of this character really well. Obviously he's created from the Cadmus laboratory group, and obviously they want to get him back and they want to do tests and all of that sort of thing. But that being said, the fact that there is a scientific group that want to do testing on magical creatures, that particular story arc has just been done so much recently. I mean, for example, in the first season of Manifest, when there were people wanting to test on the passengers, also the second season of the Charmed reboot, when there were human characters that wanted to test on magical creatures, and also the Old Guard Netflix movie was all about this premise as well. And now it's happening in Titans as well, so I just feel like this concept / storyline has just been done so many times. But that being said, they didn't do it for that many episodes, so it didn't drag on in the same way as the Deathstroke overarching storyline did in the second season. Next up we have Hank and Dove, who are really great as characters, and I feel like all of their mini plots and all of the tension that they have as characters and how they really want the best for each other and all of the brilliant storylines that this has is really cool. As far as the Titans group is concerned though, I definitely felt, especially in the first season and maybe in the first half of the second season, they always felt bolted on and as if they're going to have their own separate storylines outside of the Titans. But that being said, in the second half of the second season, they definitely felt a lot more integrated, which is really great. I thought it was also really interesting in the second season when they introduced Batman as less of a background shadowy character, but actually as a humanized personified character. I do feel like he was maybe getting a bit too much screen time, and I did much prefer it in the first season when you don't really see him at all, but you just know him and the other Justice League members are there in the background. But you know, that being said, they obviously wanted to go deeper in the storytelling for certain characters, which is really great. And the final few moments of the second season was absolutely wicked. I loved the fairground setting where it was Titans v Titans, which is really cool. I think when they had all of the girls together trying to save all of the boys, I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And so from a storyline point of view, like I said in my opening, you know, it's definitely not without its issues, and certain episodes were a bit slower than the others, but all in all, from a storyline point of view, I feel like the first two seasons were actually really great. I know it often gets criticised in terms of why aren't they formed as a Titans group already, like they are in Young Justice and in the other Titans cartoons, but I actually really like how they did everything, as they were setting up all of the origin storylines in a similar way to how the MCU did, in terms of setting up all of these different characters, and then when they do come together, is just so much more powerful. It just means so much more. And I just feel like they did that really, really well, actually, from a storyline point of view in Titans. So from a cast and characters point of view, honestly, Titans is just so brilliant. I just feel like it's such a good show. A, with the brilliant casting decisions that they made for all of the different characters, and then all of this, the deep character development that they do. They really explore all of the characters so well, and you're really with all of them. You can understand all of their character decision making, and then the heartbreak that certain characters feel, you're really with them and you're really connected with them because of the fact that they've done such good character growth and character arc development across all of the season, which is so good. So let's go through them one by one. So of course, first up we have Brenton Thwaites, who honestly, I just feel like this was one of the best casting decisions ever made in TV history, as he is just such a brilliant choice to play Dick Grayson, to play Robin, to play Nightwing. He just has such presence and charisma and just carries this show so well. You can always feel that Dick Grayson is definitely the main character in this show, even though all of the other different characters, you definitely find out a lot more about them. But I definitely feel like Dick Grayson, led by Brenton Thwaites, is definitely leading the pack and is always connected with all of the other characters, which I feel like is so good. And he just plays the essence of this character so well. I've always been a big fan of Brenton Thwaites, even from the beginning points of his career, when he was in The Giver, then when he was in Pirates of the Caribbean, and even in Gods of Egypt as well. Even though that movie was pretty awful, I feel like Brenton Thwaites was definitely one of the few redeeming factors of that film. And also, I just love all of the character growth that this character has. So for example, in the beginning, he's definitely coming out of the shadow of Batman. He's a bit of a confused, angsty, angry Robin character who really resents and hates the Batman character. Yet over the next few seasons, you get to see how he is coming to terms with this, and then is even becoming the future version of Batman, which I think is really cool. I love the jealousy / weird relationship that he has with the Jason Todd character. I feel like that's super interesting. And also then when he has to become a leader figure again in the Titans group, despite certain other characters not wanting the Titans to be reformed, how the younger members of Titans really look up to Dick Grayson. I just feel like all of the character attributes for this character is so good. And also I really like the fact that they didn't rush the character to become Nightwing, and actually you get to explore that entire character arc across this show as well. So for example, like I said, when he is a departed Robin, what is his character thinking and doing and feeling? And then when he completely wants to rid himself of the identity and literally burns the Robin suit, which I thought was so powerful. And then when he does actually come to terms with the fact of what Batman is doing, and then actually has got a really good relationship with the Batman character, and then is a true leader in the Titans, I just feel like that character arc and narrative is so good. I mean, the early aspects of the Dick Grayson character I feel like are the best for me personally, as he is just so supercharged with rage in the beginning, and I just feel like that is really interesting. But all in all, I just feel like Brenton Thwaites does a fantastic job as the Robin character. Next up we have Anna Diop, who is really great also as the Corey character. Like I said before, I really like in the first season especially how she's really confused, really naive, yet is so powerful at the same time. And she is figuring out everything in terms of why she is on this planet, what is she doing, as well as from an audience point of view, you're really with this character, learning everything as well. And I love her interactions with all of the other Titan members as well, especially in season 2. I feel like she's a bit of a natural leader figure, and then when you find out more about the fact that she's actually royalty in her planet, and then not wanting to go back to that world, and actually really valuing and liking the freedom that she has on Earth, I just feel like that is really interesting. And I feel like Corey definitely has earned and deserves her place in the Titans, as she definitely brings so much, not only to the team but also to the team members as well. Next up we have Teagan Croft, who is playing the Rachel / Raven character. Definitely was the main focus of the first season, and she is so powerful. I feel like her superpowers look really cool in this show, as well as actually are so badass and incredibly powerful, very demonic and very true comics accurate representation to this character. I think is really interesting, as she definitely has father issues in terms of being really abandoned, which really connects her with a lot of other characters within the Titans group, but also has given her a bit of a father-daughter relationship with the Dick Grayson character. I love how whenever anyone looks at this character, they always kind of see her as if she's a real evil person, but actually she has a really good heart. And I really like how they explored in the second season about how she's going to be interacting with people outside of the Titans group, which I thought was really, really cool. Next up we have Ryan Potter, who is playing Beast Boy / Gar / Garfield, and I feel like his powers are really, really cool in terms of shape-shifting into different animals. We've only really seen him turning into a tiger and a snake in the second season. I love how this character is so positive and is just really light-hearted and really, really happy with everything as well. Like I said, it was really cool seeing him first with the Doom Patrol characters and then joining the Titans. I really love his interactions and his relationship with the Rachel character and with Superboy towards the end of the second season as well. Speaking of which, the Cadman's group captured both Superboy and Garfield and were then testing on him, and I felt so bad for this character as he's just so light and helpful and nice to everyone, yet he is the person that's doing brain surgery on and really manipulating what this character is thinking and how he's going to behave when he hears a particular theme tune, and I wonder if they're going to come back to this in the third season. Next up we have Curran Walters, who is playing Jason Todd / the new Robin, and I absolutely love the dynamic with him and Dick Grayson, as he is obviously Dick Grayson's replacement, and I just thought those sequences were so good, especially in the early parts of seeing the Jason Todd character. You can just see how energetic and how much he is loving the fact that he is the Robin character, and he is just really making the most of it. But at the same time, you do get to see the darker, edgy and more dangerous side of this character and how he is going to then grow into the persona of the Red Hood. I know people criticize this actor a lot in terms of not being at the caliber of what Jason Todd is expected to be at, and I think that's mainly coming from the fact that Jason Eccles was voicing the character in the Fantastic Under the Red Hood animated movie special. But that being said, I do feel like Curran Walters definitely brings the energy that is needed for this character. And I really feel like this is a bit of a tragic character, as when he opens up in the first season, you get to see a really innocent-esque version of this character, but where he is by the end of season 2, you can definitely see the darker, edgier, grittier side of this character and how he feels really overlooked and really rejected by so many different characters that he was hoping to have more faith from. And I just feel like you can just really see the character arc and progression and downward spiral happening with this character, which I think is really tragic. Next up we have Conor Leslie, who is playing the Donna Troy character and Wonder Girl, and I just wanted to scream at the TV, justice for Donna, as I just feel like this character has so much potential in terms of being a younger sidekick to Wonder Woman, but they just didn't realise it at all. I mean, I really like when they use the rope from this character in the same way that Diana / Wonder Woman uses it, but I just feel like they didn't do much character development at all with this character. I mean, they did do a little bit in terms of exploring her relationship with Aqualad, but that being said, definitely not at the same level as the other characters at all. And then it was just really tragic when she died at the end of season 2. I feel like that could have hit home a lot more if they had explored this character a lot more, but I feel like it did hit because there was just so much unrealized potential. But she is coming back in the third season, and so I hope that they do a lot more exploration then. Next we have Minka Kelly and Alan Richson, and I really love their portrayals as Hank and Dawn / Hawk and Dove, and just all of the dynamism that these two characters share is really great. You can obviously feel their chemistry coming across on screen, which is really cool as well, and also their tragic pasts are so layered and so powerful. The episode that was focused on the Hank character in the first season I think was so hard hitting, and they definitely grew these characters a lot more as the seasons progress. I do feel, like I said before, that they are bolted on into the Titans and they were always having their own little dual storylines separate to that, but especially in the second half of the second season they were a lot more integrated, which is absolutely brilliant. Next up we have Joshua Orpin playing Superboy, and like I said before as well, I absolutely love the conflict of him having Superman and Lex Luthor inside of him. I wonder if they're going to show both of these characters in the same way that they've introduced Batman into this world, as I feel like it would be so interesting seeing how this character is going to interact with them two, which I think is really cool. Just like with Brenton Thwaites, I feel like Joshua Orpin is a great casting decision, as he looks exactly like Superboy would look in the comics, which I think is really great, and also some super brilliant sequences with this character. I feel like before Superboy came in, this show was really great in terms of all of the hard-hitting, raw and power-based sequences that they were having in this season, but as soon as Superboy entered the mix, they were so good, and you could literally feel like Superman is on screen, and all of those sequences are absolutely brilliant. Like I said before as well, the final of the second season, where it literally is all of the Titans against Superboy, I just think was absolutely brilliant, and he definitely adds a lot more dynamism to the show, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Next up we have Ian Glenn who is playing the Batman character. Like I said, I maybe did prefer in the first season, where he was a bit more of a background character instead of actually seeing the Batman character. But that being said, Ian Glenn is okay in the role, but he's definitely lacking a lot of presence, coolness, and darkness that both the Bruce Wayne character needs as well as the Batman character needs. Somebody like Ben Affleck, I feel like, definitely embodies those two characters so well, and I feel like Ian Glenn is lacking that in terms of his portrayal of the Batman character. I absolutely love the nuclear family. I thought they were absolutely hilarious and so brilliantly represented in the first season. I think they were pretty formidable, especially the fact that they were sending the Dove character to hospital. I feel like those scenes are really, really heartbreaking, and this family were just so great, and especially as their Titans core villains, they were really, really cool. Deathstroke obviously is a bit more of a Batman villain, but he was really, really cool, really, really deadly as well. But I feel like I said before as well, his story arc just went on for a little bit too long. I did like Rose and Jericho that were coming in as partners to the Deathstroke character, but they definitely could have done a little bit more with them. But I definitely feel like it could have benefited for being a bit more reduced in terms of the number of episodes that they were in for. And then finally we have Trigon, who was really, really cool, super demonic in the first season. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with him. I feel like they killed him off a little bit too soon. But that being said, he almost did wipe out the entire Titans group, as well as destroying the entire Earth as well. And so from a cast and characters point of view, on the whole, I just feel like they are pretty awesome in Titans. So from a visuals point of view, the first two seasons of Titans do not disappoint. They look absolutely awesome. You definitely feel like you're immersed into the world of the Titans TV show, which is really, really cool. It also captures the darkness of the show so well, while still having pockets of light and humour thrown in there as well, especially the second season. I feel like the second season got a little bit more lighter compared to the first season. But that being said, from a visuals point of view, it looks really, really cool. I mean, certain moments from a visuals point of view definitely feel very TV. For example, the Aqualad and the Wonder Girl costumes don't look as impressive as they could have done. But that being said, other moments are incredibly spectacular and a true spectacle, and they actually feel movie level. So for example, the Dick Grayson Robin costume and the Nightwing costume look absolutely awesome. I love the scenes where it's all of the Titans together, especially in the final few moments of the second season. I thought those scenes were really, really cool. All of the powers, when they're using all of the Superboy powers, all of the Corey powers, all of the Raven powers, all of those sequences are absolutely brilliant. And all of the hardcore fight sequences with Dick Grayson, with Hank, and with Dove against all of the different baddies, I feel like those are absolutely brilliant. All of the Deathstroke scenes are really, really cool as well. And so from a visuals point of view, I definitely feel like this show comes alive in the best possible way. So in terms of comparison, the Titans TV show is my favourite interpretation for this group. I feel like they've done a brilliant job in terms of all of the storytelling, all of the tone that they've taken for this show, and in particular, all of the casting decisions that they made for all of the different members. I feel like that's one of the core reasons why this reimagining of the Titans group is just so good. I mean, I do really like Young Justice as well, but there's just something really special about this live action interpretation, which is really, really great as well. And I love all of the origins that they've done for all of the different characters. They didn't immediately just put this group together. They explored all of the different characters, and as such, you're really with all of them, so that when they do form together, it just means so much more. But at the same time, there is a lot of background and history with all of these different characters, even when they were a previous Titans group as well, which I think is really, really great. In terms of comparing it to other mediums, I ever so slightly prefer Runaways and The Gifted to the Titans TV series. But that being said, I feel like Titans is a lot stronger than the Defenders, and I'd put it on the same level as Riverdale, which is also a bit of a darker take on the teen group world. And so from a comparison point of view, I feel like Titans is a really strong entry. So I'm sure you can tell by now, I'm a really big fan of Titans, and at the time of filming this, I haven't actually seen season 3 yet. So here are my 7 predictions of what I think is going to happen in the 3rd season of Titans. Obviously, they've teased the fact that Red Hood is going to be a big player in this season, so I feel like he is going to cause absolute chaos for all of the Titans group. And as he's got a relationship with pretty much all of the Titan members, in particular with Dick Grayson, he knows how they all think. He's got all of Batman's tech, and I feel like he's just going to cause absolute chaos for all of these different characters. And also I think it's going to be interesting, as they're going to be based in Gotham City in the 3rd season, how all of the other Batman characters for example, Batgirl and all of the other evil members as part of the Rogue Gallery are going to be looped in with this. I think it's really going to be really, really cool. I feel like Donna Troy, we know that Conor Leslie is going to come back as the Wonder Girl character. So I wonder if we're going to see a darker, edgier interpretation of that character, which will be really, really cool as well. In the second season finale, they also teased Blackfire's arrival. So I feel like she is going to really rip apart the Corey character, and we're going to see a lot more dynamism happening from a royal family point of view with these characters, which I think is really, really great. I wonder if they're going to bring back and resurrect the Aqua Lad character, or if he was just there for that one single episode. If they do bring him back, I feel like that's going to be really interesting in terms of what he's going to bring to the team and what that's going to mean for the Donna character as well. Kid Flash is such a core member of the Titans group, and I'm surprised that he hasn't been introduced yet. So I wonder if he's going to be introduced in either season 3 or in season 4. Of course, Hank and Dove are another 2 core group members as part of the Titans. I feel like they'll continue to have their own separate storylines, but will be even more integrated as part of the Titans group. And finally, like I said earlier on, I wonder if we're finally going to see Superman and Lex Luthor to really delve deeper into the Superboy character, but I literally cannot wait to see what's going to happen next in the Titans TV series. So overall, I'm sure you can tell I absolutely love the first 2 seasons of Titans. I really, really love this TV show. I feel like it's such a great addition within the DC universe, really focusing on a live action adaptation of the Titans group. I feel like they've done such a good job in terms of bringing all of the characters into this world, really exploring all of them individually one by one. I love the focus on the Batman characters and all of the wider characters within the Titans team. I feel like they work so well, and all of the team group moments are really, really amazing. I know that everyone wants to see a lot more of those, and I feel like they obviously are going to do a lot more of them as the seasons progress. But I feel like it was really, really important to set them up individually and then have them working together as a group, which they've done. And I just feel like they did it really, really well. Obviously, they could have improved certain moments in terms of storytelling, certain characters, and making certain storylines go on for a bit longer, some maybe being a bit reduced, but all in all, I feel like it's such an addictive show, and so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I'd love to hear what you think of the first 2 seasons of Titans, so let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.